I'm Cindy Westfall, and I am an associate professor at McMaster Divinity College. And I've been here, about 19 years now. And it seems like 19 years has been a day. I would say that I was always called to a teaching ministry. I think it's always been apparent. Well, I went to a Christian liberal arts school that was really strong in the Bible for that very reason, because it was strong in the Bible. But when I graduated at that time, seminaries were not welcoming women. At least the seminaries that I knew from my tradition, the seminaries that everybody else was going to, they were not receiving women. You know, women could be received to maybe do a few things, but weren't welcome in the language courses or anything like that. And so I went on to get a degree in history, an advanced degree in history, thinking that I would teach church history. But I got involved in the campus ministry. And in the campus ministry, I ran a one-on-one discipleship program, but also the campus ministry required us to go to seminary every summer. And I was like, yes, I get to go to seminary. And it was everything and more that I wanted. I loved it. And I just never stopped going to seminary. I just kept going, and eventually I got involved in an urban ministry where I had a discipleship program and I did teaching. But in time, I was encouraged to get a PhD in biblical studies and come back to seminary and teach. And I thought that was a great way to continue on in seminary and spend time in the place I loved. This was really quite late in life. And a lot have changed by that point in time between when I graduated from liberal arts school and then when I was encouraged that, yes, someone like me would be good teaching in seminary. Well, things have changed a lot for women. And I think that it's been a number of things. I think, first of all, women like me started showing up more. And we just were persistent, but there were many classes in which I was the only woman attending, and that gradually changed. But also, schools started offering counseling programs, and women came to the counseling programs, but also took the Bible courses, and so they were present. And gradually, also, more and more arguments were made to allow women to prepare for ministry at the seminary level. And it's really an economic thing. Actually, it was to the seminary's advantage. Now, McMaster Divinity College has always trained women, but this hasn't been true of all schools. But during the time that I have, I would say during the time of my career, or saying during this whole time in which I've been involved with seminaries, it's gone from there being a couple of women that were attending seminary to we're pushing close to 50% in some seminaries. There are still barriers to women, and that's why it's pretty amazing that they push through and overcome them. Now, a lot of times they simply don't get the encouragement and support to go to seminary and to go into ministry. But beyond that, there's not a woman I know that hasn't had active opposition. This is, someone's going to come after you, and someone's going to tell you, you shouldn't do this. You aren't qualified to do this, or women aren't allowed to do this. And so every woman gets basically gets attacked. And every woman has to deal with that. Now, besides that, women are dealing with things like marriage, pregnancy, young children, and for women, all of these things present time and energy barriers to actually pursuing seminary in a timely manner. And so they need support and they need encouragement if this is their calling. And if they're not married, oh, okay, I'll stay single and I'll go to seminary. But some feel that that's a price they're paying for ministry. That's a difficult price to pay. Well, the main thing I've done is work through the issues biblically. because of course I had heard that women weren't welcome at seminary, and I had heard that women should not be ordained or that women should not be pastors. And I was willing to accept whatever was God's will, but my question was, is this what the Bible really teaches? Because actually that's been what I'm always about. You know, it's not just about women in ministry, but what does the Bible really teach? And so to my own satisfaction and for my own satisfaction, I worked through this issue thoroughly. I had a pretty high bar, you know. I needed to be convinced about what the Bible taught. And so I actually did work through this for years and years, and then I published a book, Pauline Gender, that actually laid out what I had discovered from an intense study of the Word of God. And so publishing that for women, I think, was really, really important, because every woman, because people confront women and say, and suggest that they should not biblically do this, every woman needs to really work through this and say, I'm on firm ground. I understand my calling and I understand what's biblical. But beyond that, I once having published that book, but even before that, actually the whole time, I wanted to be an advocate for women, and I want to come alongside them, and I want to encourage them, and I want to equip them to do what God has called them to. And I want to be a safe place, and I want to be a place where we can talk about the issues, the barriers, and also the unique things that we bring to the table. All these kinds of things need to be explored. And so, yes, I'm in on this. When I homeschooled my children, I learned an expression that I still use, and that is that our call is to lay face down in the mud and let the next generation walk over us. And, to me, if I can effectively do that, I can continue to help this trajectory in which women are encouraged to come to seminary, in which women have a good experience, in which women feel secure in their calling. I'm going to do that. And I have no regrets that it was a difficult road. I just want to make it increasingly better for those who come after me. As I said, women lack encouragement. Women do not get the same degree of encouragement that men get when they're entering into seminary, or at least or even in cases when they do, there's still more significant roadblocks. And so a scholarship provides financial encouragement, and it provides emotional encouragement that you have support, you're on the right track, and we're beside you and seeing you through.